Today I'm going to share with you 3 reasons to take a day of silence. Hi, I'm Dr. Melissa West and welcome to Living Your Yoga. Today I'm going to share with you 3 reasons to take a day of silence. So I hear over and over again from my students that they are pulled in 1,000 different directions, that they don't have enough time to do all the things they have to do in their lives, that they are suffering from lack of focus, that they have too many things to do, that they feel obligated to too many things, that they don't have time to do what really matters to them. And we talked a lot about this in the focus and the first class in the Focus Living series on focus and nonviolence, and I'll link to that in the show notes. So if you want to know more about that, we talked a lot about it in that class. So recently, our members have become really intrigued by the fact that I take a day of silence once a week. And so this was something that I decided to do about a year ago when I was really intrigued by the fact that Gandhi took a day of silence once a week. No matter how busy he was, no matter how many people came to meet with him, or no matter how many obligations he had, Gandhi said he was never tired because internally he was always at rest. And so this was something that really inspired me. And I thought if somebody like Gandhi had time to take a day of silence, that there was really no excuse for me that I could make space in my life to take a day of silence. And so it was what I did. I was introduced to the concept of a day of silence when I did my training with Phoenix Rising Yoga Therapy. And the practice that I learned in Phoenix Rising Yoga Therapy is slightly different than the style that is maybe more widely known by vipassana retreat, where you're not supposed to read, use any media, write, or make eye contact with anybody. So the only difference in the style of day of silence that I do is that although I don't take anything in, I am allowed to express myself through journaling or any sort of artistic expression that I wish. So in vipassana, you're not allowed to write or do any art either. So there's nothing going in, nothing going out. So slight difference in the style that I do. So on my days of silence, I do journal, and I do a lot of art as well. So although there's nothing coming in, there is stuff going out. Okay, so let me tell you 3 things that I do receive from taking a day of silence each week, and they may be reasons that resonate with you. And I'll also link to an article that I wrote on taking a day of silence a number of years ago too. So the first thing that I noticed, and this was back when I first took my day of silence, and this was really profound to me, is that taking a day of silence conserves a lot of energy, because it actually takes a lot of energy to communicate. A lot of energy goes out when you speak. So for me, talking and communicating takes a lot of life force, and when you withhold from speaking, you conserve a lot of life force. So it's actually creates a lot of energy in your body. So that would be a number 1 benefit that I receive from doing a day of silence. The second biggest benefit from taking a day of silence is the complete external stimulus detox you will receive. In our culture, we're constantly being bombarded by communication, social media information, social pressure, and external stimulus. So taking a day where you intentionally choose not to digest any new material, I find this incredibly calming. The third thing I love about my day of silence is that it has helped me to come back from burnout. When I decided to take a day of silence once a week back in early 2015, I was coming dangerously close to burnout again. And I've been there before, more times than I'd like to admit. So I could really recognize those symptoms. And if you're in a constant state of chronic fatigue, a day of silence will help you restore your energy, as I said at the beginning. So maybe my number 1 and my number 3 benefits are very similar. But I love how Ty from the Utopian Life describes taking a break, like taking a day of silence, he says it's like taking a break from the tyranny of productivity. It's just like a great description of it. So if you're interested in taking a day of silence, I have just filmed another blog post on 3 tips on how to take a day of silence, because a lot of people really resonate with the idea, but then there's also like the practicality of it. Oh my God, how am I going to do that? So there's a lot of resistance to it. And then I've also put together a day of silence for our members this fall on transitioning into the autumn season, because it can be a really hustle bustle, busy time of year. And it's a time of year when we really need to turn inward and focus and transition and let go of all that abundance that we've accumulated in the summer season. Choose what we're going to hang on to and choose what we're going to let go of. And so that's what we're doing in the Day of Silence for our members, and it's all laid out for them with a lot of journaling to take that time to do that. In addition to that, on our membership site, we do have 2 other days of silence. It's, is that a word? 2 other days of silence outlined for them. There's one, especially if you feel like you don't have enough time. There's one on your relationship to time, and then there's one in the Nurture Yourself retreat, which is a weekend-long retreat, but then the first day is really outlines how to take a day of silence as well. So there's a link here on how to become a member if you're not already, so you can have access to those 3 days of silence and use them at your leisure. And if you have any questions about taking a day of silence, or if you do take days of silence, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about your experience. Namaste.
Melissa would love to hear your questions and thoughts. Please leave your comments below the video. Thank you for your reviews on iTunes and YouTube. Your reviews help us to share yoga and a yoga lifestyle with others around the world. If you have a question for Melissa, you can leave a voice message at melissawest.com, and Melissa may answer it in an upcoming blog.